like to welcome you in my new video. This video is going to be about how you can stop thinking. This is really difficult topic, so I will offer to you here some possibilities, and you can see for yourself if this is something that would be helpful for you. I also will have an exercise for you which you can practically try how to develop this skill, because this is something that I do and I really enjoy doing that, and I think it really helped me. And also, if you're new here and you enjoy topics from self-help and personal development, you can subscribe to my channel. I will be really happy if you do so. And I post regular videos, so you don't have to worry about that. And also, if you like this video, you can give it a like. And now I will start with my topic. So it took me a longer time before I finally got to making this video, because it's really complicated thing to tell you how to stop your thoughts, because this is so difficult, and whenever I googled this problem I always found some useless advice which I just looked at it and I knew that this is just not going to work, but people kind of presented it to you as if it's true and if it's gonna help. And I just, even though I tried some of the advice, it never really worked, and I just felt like it's like ridiculous. Like, I felt like these people who are giving this advice about how to stop your thoughts, that I felt like they don't even know themselves how to stop their thoughts. So that's something that I'm gonna admit to you right here, is that this is something that is in process in my life. I just keep trying this, and I tried many things, probably every single thing that you're gonna be able to Google, unless you will Google something really amazing, which if you do so, please link it for me down below, because I would like to look at it. But if you Google just regularly how I can stop my thoughts or something like that, and you put it into Google, then probably the first things that are gonna come up, it's also things that I saw and I tried them and they didn't work for me. And so now I'm gonna actually tell you something that does work for me, but it's just something that if you're gonna try this, you're gonna have to train it, because it's not gonna come like this. It's just gonna take some time before you really train yourself to do that, and it's gonna very largely depend on you and your own efforts. So I'm gonna tell you the technique. Basically, I got inspired for this by Daniel Wagner's it's called Ironic Processes Model of Mental Control, and it got me really thinking about this stuff, because he actually described a phenomenon which I think a lot of you probably know from your practical life, and that is basically that thinking works kind of ironically, because if you try to stop your thoughts, what's gonna happen to you, if you ever try this, it's gonna be something like you're gonna have even more thoughts. So you're gonna try to stop them, but they're gonna come even more intensively, and you're gonna have much more thoughts if you're gonna try to stop them and kind of like make this resistance towards them, and they're gonna keep appearing even more. And he actually described this, I think it was with kind of this thought of white bear, because if I tell you now, think of a white bear, or sorry, don't think of a white bear, sorry, then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna picture a white bear in your mind, even though I told you that you shouldn't picture a white bear in your mind. And I actually heard this example with different example, with an example of a pink elephant. If I tell you don't think about pink elephant, then what you're gonna do actually is you're gonna imagine a pink elephant in your mind, and it's just not gonna work. And so basically this was very useful to me, because I kind of knew that this is right and I agree with it. I tested it on myself, but also I was like, what's the solution to this? Like, this only tells me how it doesn't work, but how does it does work really? But if you reverse it and you try to think about it in an opposite way, kind of, then this is the exercise which I'm gonna tell you now, is that if trying to stop your thoughts works in a way that you have even more thoughts, then if you want to reduce the amount of your thoughts, you should kind of like wait for them and chase them and look for them, and they're paradoxically they're gonna disappear. This sounds really simply, but it's just not as simple as I'm saying it. Basically what I do with my exercises, I kind of imply this as not daily. I don't apply this daily, I don't have that much time, but from time to time I apply this to my meditations. If I kind of feel bored with my meditations and I want to kind of like switch things up a little bit, I try this exercise where I basically maybe after a long day where I had to think a lot about a lot of different things and I'm really exhausted, but my mind keeps producing thoughts and I feel like I have zero control over them, then what I try is that I sit down, I close my eyes, and I breathe in and out. Breathing always helps me a lot, like trying to first calm my breath down, because that calms my body down and I feel better already by focusing on my breath. And then I kind of do this exercise where I basically tell myself, okay, now I'm waiting for the first thought that's gonna come to my head. I'm really, really like eager to see what this thought is gonna be like. And so I close my eyes and I kind of prepare myself to wait for the first thought that's gonna come. And I wait, and suddenly it's like sudden that my head clears up and there are no thoughts. And of course, the thoughts will eventually come up because I get bored. I stop waiting for this thought to come up, and the thoughts will just come up and I will just forget about this exercise, and then after a couple of minutes I will be like, oh my god, I got lost in the thoughts again. And so I will have to return back to this exercise and be like, okay, now I wait for my next thought, and I kind of wait and kind of chase. If you keep chasing the thought or waiting for it, if you imagine in your head as if there is a hole and you just waiting next to the hole and you keep waiting until something comes out. It's like you can imagine in various different ways, but basically the idea is that trying to stop your thoughts produces even more thoughts, and trying to chase your thoughts, the thoughts are actually gonna disappear and your head is gonna clear up. But as I said, this is only an exercise. This is an exercise which requires practice, and you have to practice this. Because at first when I tried this and I was waiting for my thought, I was only able to keep this for a couple of seconds, I would say. I think 1 minute tops, but only like a couple seconds. But since I practiced it, I was able to see that if I practice it, I'm going to be able to keep this longer and clear my head for a longer period of time. And I think this is really useful to learn this skill and practice it, because it's really beneficial for your health if you try to stop your thoughts at least for some time, because your head needs rest as well. And also, second thing which I would like to mention, and I already kind of mentioned that, is that if you do this exercise, it's really beneficial if you will also focus on your breath. Because actually, a friend of mine actually told me that if you try to breathe in your belly really slowly, and you breathe like a 2 centimeters under your belly button, like if you really try to breathe in the belly so that the belly just comes like expands and contracts. If you really put your hands on your belly and you feel like it expands and contracts as you breathing in, and you really calm your breath down, maybe you will try to count to like 8 and you go up with your breath and then down, then it can also help to clear your mind. I find sometimes it also helps me, so I wanted to mention this, that the breathing itself, it really helps me to reduce the amount of my thoughts. So if you won't feel like doing this exercise, which I described to you here right now, then you can maybe try to just breathe in and out and really slow down your breath, and maybe you will feel that your thoughts just slow down as well, and basically your entire body and mind, they slow down. So you can also try this. I highly recommend this. But also I'm actually talking about this in connection to my video where I talk about how to get to sleep fast. I will link it for you down below, because I got a comment under this video, and there was like this question post for me, like that it can be difficult to kind of stop your thoughts when you are doing the exercise which I was talking about in my video about how to get to sleep fast. Because in this video I was talking about autogenic training, and if you ever practiced autogenic training, I'm not going to talk about it here, you can watch the video, but if you ever practiced autogenic training, you will know that it's kind of difficult. That's why it's called training, basically. It's not something really easy, but what's going to happen to you probably if you're going to try this is that as you are going to start to kind of relax your body gradually, the thoughts are going to come up inevitably. And what happening to me a lot of the times is that I try to like start with my leg, for example. I try to relax my leg, and suddenly thinking comes up and thoughts come up, and I feel like I'm not able to focus anymore. But what I do in these situations is that I just take it as it is. This is just something that's going to happen to me, and it's better to practice autogenic training knowing that I'm not going to do it like perfectly than not practice autogenic training at all. And so when I catch myself thinking too excessively about stuff, then I get conscious about it and I return slowly back to autogenic training, and I start to relax other parts of my body. And the thinking again comes up, and then I again get conscious of that and get back to autogenic training. And it really depends on the day where I'm doing it. But basically what I want to tell you with this is that stopping your thoughts, it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult even for like really advanced people who really are used to working. And I don't think of myself as advanced person, but I read and saw a lot of material about this topic, and this is really difficult thing to do if you just want to stop your thoughts. It's just really difficult, and you have to know that it's difficult and can count with it. Maybe you can practice the exercise which I told you in this video, but also if you practice other exercises, for example autogenic training, just be aware that this is something that is going to happen, and it's going to happen repeatedly, and that it's no big deal. And the great thing is that you are able to get back to your autogenic training even though you keep having these recurring thoughts. And so basically what happens to me sometimes is that I get so distracted by thoughts that it takes me a long time before I finish my autogenic training, before I go to sleep. But I kind of take it now as something that just life brings, it just happens, and the important thing is to try and keep trying, and eventually I'm gonna get better. But sometimes there's just gonna be days where it's gonna be extremely difficult and thoughts are gonna come up, and it's okay. So that's just my message of my video here. And I really hope that you will try to kind of wait for your thoughts to appear, because I think it's really fun. And even if you manage to keep it only for like a couple seconds, it's gonna be a really amazing experience for you, because I never experienced that my head would clear up so fast and like there's no thought. Like seriously, I kept waiting for the first thought that would come up, and the thoughts would just stop, and I would be like so amazed, because it's just amazing feeling when your mind clears up, even if it's just for a couple seconds. So if you're gonna try this, I will be really happy if you let me know how it went. And also please keep in mind that it's just gonna be a training. It's gonna be difficult, and sometimes it's gonna really suck, because these are not easy things to do. I genuinely think these are some of the most difficult things you can possibly do, because if you look around you, you will see people who are distracted by so many things. You will see people on the street, or in school, or in work, or on train, or in a bus, or in a store, everywhere, and they're just not able to do one single activity. They're just walking down the street and they are looking in their mobile phones. They're just, if you are so advanced that you are thinking about these things and you are trying these exercises, it always puts you in front of other people, because you're just working on yourself. And it's this time where we're living, where we are used to do so many things at once, and so it's not really a shame if you're not able to focus. But it's a good thing that you are trying to, and you are trying to retrain yourself for this. But really, just know that it's a part of life and it's really going to be difficult, but it's amazing that you are trying, and I really wish you good luck with that. And if you're going to keep doing this work, it's going to bring you some great results, but in a really long term. So just keep it in mind, and keep your positivity in doing this, because it's always better than to be negative. But I know that sometimes it's difficult to maintain your positive approach. And so that's everything for me for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like. And also, I will be, as I said at the beginning, I will be really happy if you subscribe. And that's everything for me. So have a nice now, and I will see you next time with my next video. Bye.